It's Mark Husson's Astrology Hour. Time for you to expect something wonderful.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. It's Mark Husson's Astrology Hour. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm a few minutes late, but if you're joining in, come on and listen live at 12radio.com. Click the chat link on the left-hand side. And yes, Mercury is messing with me. I promised you I'm looking for the good things, and I have found a ton. But I will talk to you about that. I have a whole section about like how we're having fun with Mercury, right? I love the Mercury retrograde. I don't care what anybody says. It's fun. Little things like that happen all the time. But if we blame Mercury consciously, we can have a ball. Let's blame Mercury all day long for all I care, right? Well, welcome. And it's December 18th. It's the last show for Mark Husson's Astrology Hour. And I'm so glad to be here with you. I'm going to take a real quick dive into the chat room and say hi to everybody. And give me a sec to do that. I'm sorry I'm late. I know. It's such a pain to know that I'm trying to get to you and I can't tell you that I'm trying to get to you. But when I come to the room, I see Lynn. Lynn, thank you so much for years of your loving support. And truly good to see you. Thank you, too. I always look forward to the 21st of December, so days will get longer, she said. Hi, Truly. That second one. Good morning. Yes, right. Renee, thank you for being here. Maureen's in the house. Nadine, lovely image, Nadine. I love that heart. Pamela's in the house. Thank you. Hi, Terry. Things really seem to be crackling astrologically. There's literally an overnight shift Wednesday to Thursday in my relationships. Mercury, Sag new moon, the coming solstice, Venus in Scorpio, Jupiter retrograde. Dang on, Terry. You nailed it. Lots going on. Shirley's in the house. Hi, Shirley. Good to see you. Tiffany's here. Tiffany, cheers, Merry Christmas, and Happy Holidays from Tiff. Hey, Raven's in the house. Thanks, Raven, for being here. Terry's in the house. Gosh, all of you guys. I know, and I'm so sorry. I'm seeing that you guys are noticing that the music wasn't me. Yes, we're blaming retrograde here, you guys. I'm just catching up with you. So listen, thank you. Yeah, it has been an interesting week. On the day of the Mercury retrograde, my garage door breaks. Now, Mercury hadn't gone retrograde yet, to be technical, but it was like, what? And then got all that fixed. Cost me plenty. I thought I could fix it, Mr. Electrician here. So then, speaking of electricity, I told you I was messing in my new hobby, and I am going to rewire this plug outlet. And I have a USB port I ordered, very expensive. It was like $80 just for a plug with a USB port in there. But it was a special USB port because it could push 30 watts of power, which is what I needed. So I got the lights out. Everything's really cool. I mean, I change it, right? It ain't pushing 30 watts of power. I go back and turn everything off. And then in order to find which one to turn off, which switch to turn off, I turn off everything in the house, which destroyed everything. I mean, didn't destroy everything, but it's like, oh my God, I forgot. Like clocks have to be reset. And, my refrigerator didn't like that at all. Anyway, that was Mercury's day. Now, I also got a gift in the mail, but it was one I had sent to somebody else. Okay, that's my Mercury kerfuffles, but at the same time, I was accepted into an insurance that was going to require a physical of me, and then said, no, we don't need it. And then neighbors bought beautiful trays of sweets. I'm 25 pounds heavier. It's amazing. So anyway, I know it's been tough for a lot of us. I know. But here's the beauty of it. Things like that happen all the time. I have been messing with the sound system here where it's not been perfect and it cuts off on me. It cut off on me. And what happened was I was trying to play some of the commercials of all the staff because my staff is starting to get their holiday messages to me. And I love to get those. So 5 minutes before my show, I was playing them and like an idiot, I hit stop when it was time for my show. I stopped everything. So, okay. Yeah. So continue, please. Hi, Esther. I know you're listening. Love you. And please keep the positive outlook on the Mercury theme, because you guys, seriously, we're going to blame our every mistake on Mercury. We get to do that when it's conscious. We don't get to do that. We don't get to do that as like not taking any responsibility. Okay. We get to do that when it's conscious, but be willing to look at the good things as well as the things that sort of like got a little untamed. We live in such white knuckled fear, right? Do we need to live more in fear? Now, the winter solstice is coming up. We're going to be gone for 2 weeks. So that means you have got to subscribe to Mark's Power Peak over at 12house.com. 12house.com. Get on the mailing list. I don't know what everybody, I don't know if there's I'm saying this as a generalization. I don't know what everybody's fear is. You should see these unsubscribes. If I send an email that says, hey, we're having a sale at 12, listen, there'll be 10 people unsubscribe. Like, it's a postcard. It's usually pretty. And it says, hey, we're having a sale. So what? Delete it. You don't unsubscribe, then you miss out all the good stuff like the Power Peak, which CA, Kelly, Mo, Ginger, Gracie work hard on every week. And we had a visitor last week that was like, I live for that Power Peak. And I was like, really? I was so excited. And she reads every one of those articles. So you're going to need to lean a little on that while we're gone for 2 weeks. We'll be back on the 8th. We're going to have a prediction show for you. I have
has the ability to make educated choices that will change our lives for the better. Our
I'll miss you. I don't want to leave you. I want to come up here on Christmas Day and have a show. I do. I just might. No, I don't want anybody to put that in their calendar because, a lot of you need to deal with family and friends, and we're here. And we are here at 12listen.com, okay? Those guys, morning, noon, and night. Do you know what it's like to have a staff that will show up for you, and be there at 3 a.m. and answer the phone? It's incredible. I hope you all got to hear Leslie Green's sweet little holiday message. She's been with us forever, since the beginning. Amazing talent, gifted, and I just I get all warm and like a little teary about time and how it passes and blah, blah, blah. That's a Pisces moon today, right? We get to be a little, what is it? Emotional, yeah, we get to be a little emotional. And I'm not emotional right now. I just sound like I am, but I have some feelings rolling around. And remember, all signs feel. This is a Pisces moon. All signs feel. None of us feel very well. In terms of we're not good at feelings. We all have our defenses against feelings, right? Water signs' defense against feeling is what? Emoting. That's not feeling anything. That's you crying. That's you reacting to your feelings. Going shopping is the same version of crying, except it's people leaping up away from the feeling, like people who have to compulsively leave or get up or I'm not going to watch that sad movie. It's we don't want to deal. It's okay. I get it. And we're getting into a darker time. Darkest night of the year coming up, you guys. It's Wednesday. It's the solstice. That's the solstice. It's also the first what? The first day astrologically of what? I know it. I know you all know it. It's the first astrological day of Capricorn. And the sun goes into Capricorn. And Capricorn is the one sign that deals with depression. Scorpio deals with depression. Not deals with, we all deal with depression, right? Capricorns work with it. They know how to work depression. And Capricorn's also one of the father signs, Aries, Leo, and Capricorn. We have some mythology around the father image, the father figure, and Capricorn's is the most ruthless. In Aries, it's this horrible father, this terrible father that sends them on a quest that they hope they won't live through. And then Leo's is sickly, the Holy Grail. And Capricorn's is Kronos, was told that his son would overthrow him and kill him. and it's gross, but it's gross. It's Capricornian gross. And so what happens is in the psyche, wherever we have Capricorn, Aries, or Leo, we tend to struggle with the father image, the image of father. And so what happens for Capricorns mostly is when you're born a Capricorn, or born a Capricorn moon, or born a Capricorn rising, or born with Saturn close to any of your personal planets, you tend to take on life with a different slant. Like you take on life as if life is going to be taken from you. And there are the Capricorns who play the puer, the playful young eternal youth until they slam into a wall. They tend to create a issue or thing in life that makes them suddenly grow up, like early pregnancies, and this applies to men and women, early pregnancies, issues with finances, early death of a family member, something like that, where they have to step up and be responsible. But Capricorns, if you talk to a Capricorn, they will have faced something like it's crazy how intense it is for Cappies. But where you have Capricorn in your chart, where you have it sitting around that wheel, that's the area of life where that stuff gets for you. For me, it's siblings. And it just plays out perfectly. Third house for me. Third house is ruled by Capricorn. What's the house that's ruled yours? Like, where's Capricorn for you in your chart? If you're a Cancer rising, it's the seventh house. Looks like, where Cancer is in your chart, find the opposite. If you just look for whatever, the order of the zodiac, right? Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, and then Cappy. Okay, so Capricorn's right after Sag, right before Aquarius. And so we just had a Capricorn moon Thursday, Friday, Saturday last week, right? I think that was right. And it was like, it's just sober. So we're coming to that. The sun in the sky is going to be in that place Wednesday. Oh, here, I'll tell you when exactly. It's like Wednesday, 7 p.m. No, wait a minute. Thursday. Give me a minute. Yeah, Thursday, the 21st at 7:27 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so late in that evening, the sun's going to be the darkest night of the year. The moon will be in Taurus at that time, so it'll be a nice little trine. It'll be nice. It'll be even. It's kind of romantic. It's kind of like, wow. And so many mythologies are around this birth of these gods. Notice Jesus and the Father, like the father issue, Jesus being, a Capricorn theoretically, right? And the issue with the father and why have you forsaken me? Like this whole thing in Capricorn psyche is, where are you? Who's taking care of me? And having to do it on their own. All the myths, and there's Mizithra, I think it's something like that. Zoroaster. So many old gods were born on the 25th of Christmas. 25th of December, Christmas Day. So, the point being that we're entering that cycle where it gets a little dark, and it is literally dark, and it's this beautiful, like for me, I know it's like that for you guys who are experiencing this. If you're in Australia, you've had it already. You're doing the opposite of what we're doing, but they say even if you're down under, you still experience it in a rhythmic sort of psychological way, that summer for you guys is literally has that same inner effect. It's interesting. I have to talk to sensitive Australians and see what they think. So, as we go in, and it's like a new moon, right? Except it's like this literal time when we call it a day almost it feels like 4:30. It's dark outside, right? 4:30. Okay. And if they didn't mess with our clocks, I guess it would be what? 5:30? Would it be 5:30 or 3:30? Let me see. We go back and yeah, it'd be 5:30. So anyway, it's dark. And I think it's that feeling. Now for me, it's those those pictures of log cabins and fireplaces. I have such, and I didn't have any of that. I was raised in West Virginia, as many of you know, and, you know, everything was sort of like purple and mafia gold cupids, right? I mean, that was the taste, the flavor that I had to grow up with. And, it was, so there was no cozy home fireplace. It was like, turn the heat down. God bless Virgos. God bless Virgos. God bless Virgos. But I was raised by one who was really Virgo-y and really about like, we had to freeze, literally freeze. I mean, the minute I step into a shower to take my shower, there's a bang on the door. Hurry up. And now I take probably the world's longest shower, and I made sure we had the world's biggest hot water tank. I'm not kidding. I'm in there. I have a TV in my shower. It's a little echo show, but I'm like, turn on my favorite shows. And I'm like, oh man. And if that is not some kind of psychological rebellion, I don't know what is, but it is. It's fun. And it's like nobody banging on the door telling me to get out. Nobody that freaking selfish to stop me from having a moment of bliss in my shower. And it's like 30 minutes. Seriously, I'm pruny, but I don't care. I can do it. I'm so happy I get to do that. I think sometimes, one time in the shower, I was watching a prison movie and I was like, gosh, can you imagine they have no heat in the prisons? I feel bad for prisoners. Anyway, don't let your mind go anywhere. So I want you guys to have access to the Power Peak during the 2-week break, but we are going in and there is so much happening. Truly just sort of mapped it out perfectly. I mean, there's so much going on. It's like the retrograde's happening. We just had a new moon right after Christmas. Christmas is going to be a Gemini moon. We go into a new moon in Cancer. And for some of you, Cancer is not your favorite energy to deal with. I don't know why. But I mean, that new moon hits and it's Cancer. It's emotional. It's a full moon. I apologize. It's a full moon. And it's Cancer. It's like watery. It's opposite Capricorn. It's like, oh my God, if we're not squirming in one direction, we're squirming in another. And so it's emotional too. It's sort of like, I don't know, it's moody. And you have that to contend with, right? And then you have the change of signs. There's so much going on. I mean, there really is. And all you have to do is observe where you're getting crazy. Where your crazy's happening. That's it. So if you're getting a little like, if you're waking up and you're feeling that angst, that sort of bitter angst, right? Oh God, you don't feel good. You're not like sure the world feels safe. Your mind's playing tricks on you. You have to get like the observer in there. You have to kick it up. And let me advise you and see if you would accept this advice. When your mind is starting to do that little thing, and I mean, when we're in it, it's a lot more scary than when me just talking about it. When you're in it, it's like this world does not look safe. What's happening doesn't look good. What's coming down the pike for me doesn't look good. Do me a favor, please. And I mean, this is a tough one. Change what you're thinking about. Redirect your thought. Just tell that voice. Let's put it on hold for a minute. Let's redirect over here. We'll come back to this. Because it is literally the same crazy mind. The same crazy mind that's giving you those thoughts that you're asking to help you see it a different way. It makes no sense. So when we're crippling ourselves, when we're starting to double over with this sort of like, this angst, see if you can redirect with a promise to come back to it, but see if you can literally get the observer on long enough to say, we'll come back to this. And then literally pull your attention like 180 degrees, 45 degrees. I'll even take 6. Just get your attention off of that thing that you've locked onto, no matter how scary it is. Because you know what? You see a scorpion on the floor, you stare at it, you focus, it's pinpoint precision. That's what the mind thinks is happening when you get into your fear mode. Watching every move Mercury makes, watching everything that could possibly go wrong. I did it the other day. I saw there was a surveyor on our property. And I was like, I'm serious. My mind was like, oh my God, the neighbor's going to build right up to our fence. Like, first of all, they can't. Second of all, so what? Relax. Thirdly, what the hell are you? Like, I couldn't unhook from this thought that we're being attacked by the neighbors. We have great neighbors, by the way. So I did what I told you. I started trying to find, like, taking the crowbar and sort of getting my eyeballs off of the thought, getting my mind off of the thought, and sort of took the boys for a walk, started to a little breathing. I don't know what was hooking that thought. I don't know. And if you go tell somebody, they'd like, stop thinking about it. Like I'm telling you, except I'm trying to get you to see, I get that it's hard. I also get there's ways to do it. It's kind of like distracting. When your child is laser focused on something, when the dogs, for me, are laser focused, like, oh God, they want it, they want that treat, it's like, let's go throw the ball. It'll change their whole, they forget about it. Or Javi just has to smell this one area on the walk. And it's like, enough! I don't scream. I pull him like, Doug, come on, Javi, come on. And then and I run, like he'll chase me, and then he forgets whatever it was he was trying to smell. So we got to do that with our own minds. And that's what I'm asking you to do during this cycle, because it gets a little weird in those dark moments, especially when the sun's in Capricorn for 30 days. And Venus is going to be in Scorpio. Those are two signs that want to go deep and can get stuck deep. You see, they like it there. You know why? Because when you're in that place, you can keep an eye on the door. Who's coming in? And by the door, the metaphor is a thought that might come in that would scare us, or an event that could happen that would scare us. You know, I was thinking today, and I want to talk about this more, like, we've lost our sense of humor. I was reading this funny little comic, and it offended a group of people, and they just ripped. And it was just, I'm not even going to get into it. It wasn't religious, anything like that. It was just, it offended somebody, and it's like, oh my God, we can't play anymore. Maybe. And is that little, I know I'm being over dramatic, but my point is, we're not doing that with ourselves. We're not finding the humor and how silly we look when we get that obsessed about something. We've turned it into a religion, everything, which is normal during this time when the sun goes into Capricorn, out of Sagittarius, the most religious sign of the zodiac. We'll say spiritual. And then it's in Capricorn, and then Venus is going into Scorpio. So we get deep, and we think we're being all like connected, and the holidays are very religious. So it's like, oh, it's easy for us to get religious, like things that we believe are the way. That's it. That's the way. And you don't insult that group, and you don't do this to that group, or to this person, and it's like, wow, I mean, lighten up. We got to laugh at ourselves a little bit. We got to be allowed to laugh at others. We do. Not be cruel, but we got to be able to laugh at some of the absurdities. And so me talking about it isn't going to change it, but you individually looking at some of how serious you're taking your life, how serious you're taking some of this stuff, is important for you to go, okay, wait a minute, pry out of there. I see a crowbar. Like, get your attention off of that for a minute. Stop it. Get over here. And it's like, oh, thank you. It literally takes that sometimes, right? Okay, now, let me see how y'all are doing. Let me see how y'all are doing. I can bring West Virginia back to life in a heartbeat. I think I can. Even though when I went to West Virginia, they made fun of me for not sounding like a West Virginian, which I was sort of like then deliberately not sounding like one because it's like, whatever, all comments. Here we go. Okay, I'm coming. And I see. Okay, let's see who we got. Geraldine and Ellsworth, Fran and Laura and Beth, how you doing? Welcome. Karen Erickson's in the house. How you doing, Karen? Thank you. She had faith that I'd be showing up. Evie Tango, oh my gosh, good to see you. Big love and hugs to you. Hi, Michelle, Lioness, thank you. Jackie Walsh, Terry, thank you. Thanks, Terry. You're so sweet. She said, you're a how and a half. I love that. Terry's always Terry, you've always been there. And Terry's an advisor over at 1-2. I'm so proud to say that. We courted her for a while. I'm going to out you on that, Terry. We begged you to come over. Pamela Snow. Mark, I really tried so hard to let the Mercury retrograde funk get me. I tried hard not to let it get me. The large company that I work for rolled out new mandatory software that I had to install on Thursday. Oh, God. 4 days later and many calls to IT, I'm unable to access my link and unable to work. I am making the best of it in the Northeast, and we're here in a bad storm. Power came back on a half hour ago. Oh my gosh. Still laughing in spite or to spite all of it. Okay, Pamela, that's an amazing story. Okay, so let's talk about this just for a second. First of all, I was going to tell you guys when I got back, I was on my walk and I was like, well, what are some good things that happened? And I was like, well, the dogs didn't die. And it's like, wait a minute, you're not allowed to say the absence of a bad thing is a good thing necessarily. You save that for your gratitude prayers. When we're marking good things that happen under a retrograde, we got to mark them. Now, Pamela, that's awful. That's awful. We full on blame Mercury for that shit, right? But here's the thing. Ultimately, I want you in the middle of this story to, while you're here, okay, an example, and I'll come back to this, but this is an example. When I was studying the course in Miracles, which is, my heart was with Kim Wapnick. I love him and I love their philosophy. That's just me. I don't care what people believe. I don't. I love our freedom to find our truth. And his wife had to go to surgery. She had cancer and she had to get into surgery. And then everybody was like, oh, wait, you're Mr. Metaphysical and you got sick. That old thing, The Secret, sort of destroyed in everybody. If you got sick, you created it. It's evil. It's evil. That's just evil. And so now, and do I think you create? We do. But the same part of us that creates the dreams we pick at night, which you aren't consciously picking, is doing that. It's like we don't necessarily know that we're driving the car. So relax a little bit. Okay. Anyway. She goes into the hospital and they just had said, we're giving this over. We're handing it over. We don't know what's going on. We don't know why, but we'll trust it. And on that journey to the hospital changed her life in so many ways. She made one of the best friends in the world with the surgeon. She learned a lot. I don't know. There was this whole thing that changed the course of her life. So, and I always remember that story and they talk about it together. It's very sweet. But when you're like right now in the middle, your IT's disconnected at some point on that journey, and it all sucks. There's no question. Like this, why are we in the middle of all this? Well, and I'm not saying is it because it needed the upgrade and all that? I'm not looking for those excuses. I'm just asking you on your journey while you're in the thick of it and you're doing the best you can to hold that Pamela's little girl hand and sort of make light of it and remember Life is Beautiful, that movie where the guy lived in a concentration camp with his son and he made it a point to make his son feel like he lived in paradise. Oh my God, what a beautiful movie. You're doing that, Pamela, for your little girl. Number one. Number two, let's see what it was for. Like, stay open to, okay, what am I going to learn from this? What did the company learn from this? What new thing is happening? Why did this happen? And let's not pretend it doesn't suck. That's the most important thing. This sucks. Hate this stuff. It's like, why can't shit just stop breaking? Okay. And sometimes it's like when it breaks. Okay. But let's all hold a space for this idea, Pam, not for you to turn this into a positive. That's not what I'm asking you to do. That's just sugarcoating shit. But what I am asking is pay attention to the journey while you're in the thick of it. That's all. Get as much as you can from it. Okay. Already I see what you've done is a miracle with staying sane and trying to even see a glimmer of hope in this. And by all means, flip the bird to Mercury. Say, you're allowed. It's good. But you know you're doing it because it feels good. We can point the finger. But I just want us to also believe these things could have happened at any time in our life. It happened to happen under a retrograde. Great. That's good. I get it. But also when they happen at other times in our life, we don't necessarily know what to flip the bird at. Like, it's like, God hates me or whatever. So we have something. That's one good thing is we can blame Mercury. But Pamela, hang in there. I'm sorry. And you're such a trooper. You're such a team player to say you're willing to see the good in it and wanting to see the good in it. See the crap in it too. It's okay. I had to see the crap. My garage door just stops. Retrograde? What? Now, other times things have broken. It wasn't a retrograde. That's why I'm just giving score to that. It happened to break under it. I'm giving that against Mercury. I'm flipping the bird to Mercury. All right. And Terry Campbell, I'm seeing here 22 minutes ago said, you're a trooper, Pam. And I just saw that. So that's great. We're on board. We're on the same page. All right. Maya, thanks for being here. Tara, thank you. Tiffany, this Virgo wants heat, fireplace, and a hot shower. Good tip. I love that. I love that. Giving new meaning to my experience of the Virgo that didn't want any of that. For me, anyway. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. Good to see you. Jennifer Lakshmi's in the house. Again, advisor at 1-2, you guys. Quelly, Grand Rising, Mark, and family. Quelly, you're so consistently lovely. Thank you. Pamela, yes, LOL. Good advice. I'll throw the ball and get myself a treat. I'll get through this as snarkily and comically as humanly possible. Yes, you will. Pamela, what a great story. And I just want you to know, I'm so sorry that happened. Joker, scary Joker image, Karen. Why so serious? Terry, I heard Javi hired a surveyor for new play building for him and Duncan. Oops. I may have said too much. Oh, retrograde secret out. So Javi and Duncan are planning, a new build. I have spent so much money for the happiness of these dogs and it's all failed. But they know they're loved, so I guess that's a win. Might have been a Christmas surprise, although I got a quick glance at the blueprints and the indoor Amazon rainforest is really clever. You can tell Terry's a Gemini. I love that mind. Thanks, Terry. I have things to talk to my dogs about when we're done. So you guys, tough time period for sure. Tough in the sense of this is one of those when the planets are starting to shift. They're starting to change. They're going direct. They're entering the darker times. They're changing signs. All of those things are times when things get wonky. Okay. Big storm in the East Coast, like rain and heavy. I don't even know if it's going to turn to snow, but I guess snow's going to be in the higher elevations. Be safe out there, you guys. But here's the thing, that as we come into this deeper holiday season, and happy Kwanzaa for those of you celebrating, and happy New Year. I'm not even going to be able to say that to you guys, but I'll do it through a postcard. So I hope you'll sign up at 12house.com. To me, 23, I don't know. Things used to so concentrate around November and October and December that I remember going, get out of here. I don't know how I feel about 23. I'm more worried about 24. Which means we're already living in November of 24, right? We're thinking of it, a lot of us. And then it's 25. And then what? That's already right there. 2 years have passed. Time is just, I have got to start really appreciating these moments more and more and more. And there's a lot of you that I've talked to. There's a lot of people who have passed. A couple of people very close are watching people pass, like it's coming up for them. So it's a hard time. My grandmother, my dad's mom, died on Christmas Day when I was 16. And I always thought like these must be, I thought to myself, literally, it must be more stressful for people than I think. Like that's just, they carry so much more. So during this time, and you see all that stuff happening, we can, we can take a minute and sort of make sure our health is okay, right? Like take a breath, see if you can like shake your shoulders down for a minute before you get your day rolling. Make note of how many people you're trying to please in the course of a day. How many times you bit your tongue, and how many times you might have like gone a little too far where you lost your peace and you lost your center. So we have a new moon right after Christmas in Cancer. Could be emotional. Okay. It could be you're feeling insecure. Cancer is all about insecurity. Could be financially, things are just scary and you're not feeling it. And I'm just asking you to remember here, to remember me, to remember us, to remember your friends, to remember the people that are around you, and do what you need to do to bring some of that to a gentle pause, a soft landing, as they say economically. Bring yourself in for a little bit of a reprieve. How do you, if I could have just turned mom off on Saturday mornings, my memory of Saturday mornings is there was no joy when she got out of bed. And I'm not playing a violin for my life. I loved my life. I knew how to handle mom. She's no big deal. But I do remember associating Saturday morning cartoons with right at the end of the Jackson 5, she would be getting up and we had to turn the TV off and I had to go get a haircut and it just starts. And so I don't want you to have that. I want you to have, and I don't want that either. I'm definitely getting rid of that. Wherever in your life you're having that, I'm giving something up for somebody, or, and it's tough. We live with some people that have moods, and some people just feel like they have the right to have that mood over everybody. And so it does affect things. It does. And so it's definitely interesting how we have to survive in our own environments, but we can do that, right? And then when things are settled, you get those moments where you can sort of give yourself a little nod and a wink, sneak a cookie. Do that. And then appreciate the times when there's laughter, when you were able to pop through, when you were able to go on that sweet little walk with the boys. But you don't have to put up with anything. You don't. And if you do, okay, if let's say that you feel like I just have to, it's the only way to keep the peace. Make sure you have a little window in there to the kid where you sort of high five the kid, that you acknowledge that you're doing this for the sake of peace. But just acknowledge it. Okay. So now as we go forward, I just want to give you some highlights of the week, the weeks ahead. Okay. We are going to see, even though Venus is in Scorpio now, it does leave into Sagittarius on Friday. Okay. And Venus, when it gets near the end of Scorpio, gets a little heavy and draggy, and that's where that depressive stuff can come in. But when it gets into Sagittarius, it's the beginnings of Sag is where we start feeling that there's possibly another way to look at something, that there might be more hope, might be something to count on. And if you're a spiritual sort, it's a time to sort of remember sort of the beauty that's available to you. If you have a minute, or, all the symbols, where you light a candle and sort of think about gratitude. And again, I want you to use our gratitude board at 12listen.com. Just go put in something you're grateful for. Just do it. Just be grateful. Because gratitude is sort of like a way to get the mind focused on the good. And it's not different than an affirmation, right? An affirmation sometimes can feel deceitful. I am thin and beautiful. Gratitude is you had to go check it out. And there is a moment that doctor on Netflix, that Seth Hill, Jonah Hill, brought to the screen, and I was glad he did. I'm not a big fan of. I don't do a lot. There's not a lot of people I hero worship. Anyway, this doctor said this thing that I thought was really amazing, and I'm going to give it to you just to remind you. Close your eyes and act like you are about to give gratitude. Like somebody said, it's your turn to give gratitude for the things in your life that you're grateful for, right? And as you collect that information and you're getting ready and you're about to say what you're grateful for, don't. But when you open that door to look through the eyes of gratitude, when you Stoltz, thank you, Teresa. I always have somebody at my back. Hi, Teresa. Thank you. Dr. Stoltz on Netflix, you can check him out. He asks you to close your eyes, and when you're about to be grateful, when you're about to get that list, you start feeling a little bit in your belly. You might feel that light sort of opening up. You might feel this sort of like wonder. Some of you might even feel wonder of gratitude. Some of you might feel a sliver, but it doesn't matter. As you collect it, before you give it up, shoot it up your brain. Feel it in your belly. Concentrate this sense of gratitude. And then picture it as light, and it just goes straight up your head, and it blows out some of that negative thinking. Just be in the space of the pre-gratitude. Okay? It's sort of like foreplay, but for gratitude. And you're up there in your head with all the, what he called them X's, all the negative thoughts that are determined to ruin your experience of your daily life, right? That's what they're determined to do. Because think about it. The mind's sole purpose is to protect you or whatever you identify with. So if you identify with your car, the mind is going to, and your car is at threat, your mind's going to throw your body in front of the car to protect the car. Your mind is designed to keep us safe. Our minds are designed to keep us safe. And so it's always on alert for the snakes in the room, for the spiders and snakes and scary thoughts. It's always on alert for the surveyor in the backyard. Always on alert. But in that moment of gratitude, in that moment when you're bringing that concentration up and you push it up through your head, picture all those negative thoughts like when a vampire sees a cross. Picture all those thoughts going, it's light. And that's what we can give ourselves during times when it gets a little dark. That's why gratitude is the secret sauce, in my opinion, different than an affirmation. I don't like affirmations as much. I did them forever. God bless you, Louise. And Sandra Ray. Remember Sandra Ray? Maybe some of you do. Original affirmation queen, actually. And Betsy, my friend who taught me them. I would sit there and lie over and over and over about the nature of my life. But what it did do something. Even though they said this was getting in your subconscious and all that, it did keep me away from riding the wave of one of those thoughts, right? Because I had to focus on this other thing. So I don't want to bash affirmations. Yeah, I do. But I don't want to bash them on your behalf. I want you to do what works for you. But gratitude is a secret sauce that definitely you have to grab what's real and you have to hold it. And before you get it literal, like I said, before it gets literal and you start going, oh, I'm grateful that, I didn't get bit by a rattlesnake today. You just bring that gratitude in, take a minute, the ability to even experience the pre-gratitude is amazing. And then fill it up towards your head and then push it out your crown and see it sort of like scaring the negative thoughts. It's kind of amazing. Okay, let's wrap it up for a minute here. On the front of 12listen.com are holiday messages designed for you because these people are really wanting you to know their hearts and their feelings. And it's so fun to have a group that works with me that's emotionally inclined, that has more feeling inclination. And so you could say, let's get a message to the public, you guys. And of course I say it just like that, right? Come on, let's get a message to the public, because I'm really a dear, dear, dear soul as a boss. And they do. A lot of them do. A lot of them come through and say, okay, and they do, and they did. And I want you to go listen to them. I also hope during this holiday, listen, you all know I love you. You know that I wish the best for you. You know that I'm a warrior in a sense for our getting too serious in the world. And I'm a warrior for your inner child and all the inner children. Cause that's, a cancer that doesn't have a child, even though I have a million children. It can be a cancer can be really good at nurturing your child, your emotional child. And I love doing that. And that's what makes the show really fun for me. So from my parental Cancerian self to your inner little girl, little boy, or whatever gender you want to assign them, and I'm saying that a little facetiously, but to your inner whoever, I want you to hug them on behalf of me, know that I'm here for them, know that I'm in the battle with them. And I also know there's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a planet ready to turn the corner to symbolize the hope that we feel we often lose. Okay? So no matter where you go with it, if you have a super intellectual head and this is all sort of a little too much, or if you have a super emotional body and this isn't quite enough, all those measurements, just set them aside just for a minute and hear this as, I love you and thank you for the support you've given me all year. I'm wishing you a very beautiful holiday. If it's the solstice, if it's Kwanzaa, if it's Christmas, I don't care. Hanukkah, you celebrate it with your soul, with your heart, or don't celebrate it, and just as passionately. And then let's get together on January 8th, 2024. I'll be in touch with you by mail, by email. So you have to get on the 12house.com. I'm not going to beg. Yes, please do it. And then I'll let you know what's happening. Okay. So Merry Christmas. Happy everything to you guys. Thank you for a year of amazing support and love. You guys really blow my mind. I would cry if I didn't feel a little too embarrassed, but I love you all. Thank you a million. Stay tuned for the amazing Christina LaFrance, and let's have a gorgeous holiday. Okay. Together.